Supercoach 360.
Supercoach 360. Animation.
Supercoach 360 podcast.
Con, centre wingers, buddy. I do believe that you have a few for us.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, someone has actually asked us the question. Clay Armitage says, I think I'm going to focus more on fullbacks, front rowers, second rowers, Pelicans for wingers. What do you reckon about that?
Hey?
Running with Pelicans for wingers, focusing on fullback, second row, and front row instead. The old school Supercoach method, I'm going to call it.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Don't mind it? Would you
No.
consider it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and Virgo, I mean, you know, sort of you were talking about stacking with centre wingers and trying to pick up the attacking points.
Yep.
Yeah, so you're sort of the opposite there on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Listen to you two, just nodding along. This is how people agree to things they don't understand. You guys both agreed to something. You were not wrapping your head around what I was saying. That's all good.
No, I know what you're saying.
What's he saying?
You're saying, do you start with all cheapies in your centre wing, or are you going to go with your theory like you just mentioned about moving them into the back row even because they score so high, you got to have them?
Yeah, I just did a little bit of research while watching the rossing. Not many, probably not going to happen that way at all, unless we get some come in. But yeah, look, I see merit in it. I do see merit in it. But also now that it is becoming more of a better point scoring position than it has been.
Yeah, that's it.
Like, there's more points on offer for them.
That attacking thing you were saying at the start of the show. If it's going that extra man wide, now it's the centres picking up those spots, those extra attacking points.
This is me theory, just quickly. I don't know if this is going to go anywhere where you want to go, but
Probably not.
instead of getting a Gus, I'll get a Mitch Barnett. Do you know what I mean? So that way I can probably juice up a winger, because I think there's only going to be 10 to 15 points difference in between Gus and Mitch Barnett, probably by the end of the year at the most. Whereas I think the centre wings, there's some shit centre wings, and then there's your gun centre wings.
Well, that's it. There's the
Like-
30s and 70s.
Like, there's a reason Toto's 700,000 compared to everyone else there. It's
Yeah.
because he does so much work. Now, there's a couple of other workers coming through, whether or not they get spots, is like that Marju, he's a worker from the Titans and stuff like that, but predominantly they're not much workers in the back. But I think you'll lose players a lot easier in the centre wing if you don't jump on them earlier for cheaper, rather than you can wait for the second rowers, if you know what I mean. They're not going to fly out to 900,000 like a centre wing will. So you might be best just taking
Unless
that
they're
little
David
hit
Fafita,
here.
obviously.
Yeah, well, look, I'd love to get David Fafita.
Just quickly, while we're on that, Jared Watson wants to
So,
know,
how are you, brother?
with Fifi's or Deefi's rib injury, you guys still keen on starting with him?
No, I'll obviously wait for more news at a later date. But yeah, I'm very keen after seeing he's running the All-Stars game.
I must admit, I can't afford. I know last year I had to jump on at a certain point, but he also had a lull. And it was right after I jumped on, he had a bit of a lull, like a couple of games. Dang, I still got some big games in amongst all that, but ended up on the bench by the end of the year, which was a bit of a worry. So yeah, no, look, I can't jump straight on to David Fafita. Don't get me wrong, if I find enough ways to squeeze some money, I'd love to. I'd love to be able to upgrade anyone to David Fafita. Anyone, even the best bloke I've got there at the moment. But at this point, can't.
It is hard to justify it.
Alrighty. I don't know if I acknowledge, but also there's an extended chat with Ross on our new YouTube. So I definitely did for Brad, but there's actually a super extended chat with Ross where he breaks down all his Supercoach relevant players and the ones that he really likes on our YouTube. So make sure you head there, Supercoach 360 on YouTube. Con, have you got some centres for us, mate?
I do. Obviously, Toto. I've just gone through and had a look at their base, really.
Yep.
So just base and power stats, see what they actually do throughout the game without attacking stats. And there was 3 that stood out. One's a goal kicker, that's why his base is so high, but he's in a reliable team, so I counted it.
Gaz?
Garrick?
Yep.
Yeah, it was him. So he averages 54 with the goal kicking if you include the misses as well.
Yep.
So throwing the attacking stats that Tommy's going to create, and I think by the end of the year you're going to want to have him, absolutely. Toto averages 57.4 in just base. We all know what he does. Everyone wants him. Everyone will have him.
What is he, 20 odd hit ups, like minimum again?
Yeah. And then the other one that surprised me was so high was Jesse Raymond, averages 53.7. Doesn't see the attacking stats of the other 2, obviously not being a winger. But if he can see some good ball without SJ this year, I don't like his chances. But yeah, he's definitely one to have. I know Guy's a big fan of him.
You don't rate Trindle and Nico Hines over at the Sharks? Service him all right?
I want to
Trindle's
see how
hurt.
they go first.
I think Trindle's hurt.
After the All-Stars
I
game?
read somewhere, yeah, Trindle's hurt, so
So Moylan Hines.
keep an eye on that.
Stay on the phone.
And then I got a few where they're in good teams and they could just go ballistic. Like Tupou, he only averages 42.7, but on the Roosters back line, I'll probably be getting him in sooner rather than later. And AJ, we know what AJ did last year. I can't see him replicating it to the same extent.
I mean, he's been top try scorer near enough the last 2 years, man. He's on the end of a... You were thinking...
He has been the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's it.
He doesn't have...
No A-Ray.
Not that he doesn't have a hit up in him, but he doesn't like to go. He doesn't do no top.
Well, he averages 29.
Hit ups the game
No,
a year.
all of
yeah.
his base, like break
Oh.
tackles,
So
tackles.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So yeah, without the tries,
he's a finisher.
Yeah.
And we've seen it last year. He'll get you 150 one week and the 26 the next.
That's it. When he gets the ball, he goes over the line.
If they come up against a Melbourne or...
If you're playing overall, but it's all about average, so it all averages out, and he was right up there, I think, third or
Well, he's
something.
he's still up in the top tier of blokes on the app. So.
It's just such a lethal left, man. Like, it's such a lethal
It
left
is.
side there at Souths. I mean, we'll see what happens this year. But Cody played left a little bit with him last year.
Jody
Mate,
played left all year.
There you go.
Played a little bit of right here and there, which was good to see.
Which, you know what, it done him well.
Oh, they need him to.
Yeah.
You can't just have him on one side of the field. Him and Trell, they both have to go both ways.
All halves should be doing it.
Yeah.
So, take note.
All right, you got any other centres there for
No,
us?
I've just got some where you'd keep an eye out if their positions change, like Dewey, Manu, if he can get the fullback, or even the 6, I'd have a good look at him.
What about Manu over the Origin time
Yeah,
for fullback?
definitely.
It still does depend. If they lose a couple on the try, I can see him still using Teddy, but Joey Manu, he's a good plug and play through Origin.
See, and especially if Teddy gets an extra rest after Origin to put him in finals
Well,
contention.
you just hope that he gets poorly used throughout the year, so he's cheap enough for you to run that gamble.
Yeah.
Where you wouldn't do it if he was expensive, and there's a chance that he doesn't make you anything or get as many points.
And if they go as explosive as I think they're going to, Keary might be pushing for the 6 jersey for New South Wales as well, so there could be 2 positions Joey could fill in over that time.
Would they
Yeah.
bring him on as 14 otherwise?
I think Luai would be more the 14.
Yeah,
I don't think Keary would be 14.
fair enough. Is that
And then Holmes, if he can get the fullback spot back. I don't know what's happening up there. I don't know if the Hammers got it or Holmes got it.
I've heard it's left side for
So he should be.
Left
That's
side.
where he belongs.
left side strong for Val.
Yeah.
Him, I think, is it Tuolangi and Lukey?
No, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Ewan Aiken's the last one. Oh, and Cobbo and Swartley,
Yeah.
depending on their years.
Well, Cobbo's got the massive raps, like massive raps.
Oh, he just reminds me so much of Latrell.
Yeah.
The way he plays and the way he runs and everything is just Latrell.
So he's lazy? No. I'm only joking.
Hope not.
Does he?
Makes you crook.
Supercoach 360 podcast.